sides, if you notice, it started in Genesis religious. On both sides, one of them denominational, high-minded, and the other one humble, walking in the Spirit by revelation. How could Abel ever know that it was a lamb instead of fruits from the field? Because it was revealed to him by divine revelation. Amen. Jesus said the same when Peter confessed him to be the Son of God. He said, flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father which is in heaven has revealed this to you. Amen. Upon this rock. Amen. The rock, not Peter, not Jesus, but on the divine revelation. Amen. I'll build my church, and the gates of hell cannot prevail against it. Amen. You get it? Amen. It's divine revelation. Now watch. Every effort of time, they met face to face and fought it out. Look at when Moab was up on the hill and Israel was in the valley. And Israel only asking as a brother gentleman to pass through their land, going to the promised land that God had promised them, only asked for a little revival in their church, as it were. Just to pass through the land and promise they would even pay for the grass that the cattle licked up. And they would go over the king's highway and the things that they would do as they passed through the lands. And they would make it right. But jealousy. Now Moab, the land of Moab, was not infidelic. They were believing in the same God that Israel believed in. For they were the sons of Lot's daughters. Lot's daughter who conceived while Lot was drunk by her own father. And it went over and that's where Moab sprung from. And when their prophet come out, their teacher, money crazed, and set up altars, 7 altars, exactly the same amount of altars was required down here. Here's Moab sitting here, the great fine denominational land, all fixed and figured. And here was Israel, a little old holy roller, wandering about in tents from place to place. You say holy roller? They sure was. If they're what they call today holy roller. When they crossed the Red Sea and God performed a miracle in front of them, Marrion grabbed the tambourine and began beating the tambourine and run down the bank screaming and jumping and dancing in the Spirit, and the daughters of Israel followed her, jumping, screaming, dancing in the Spirit. And Moses stood with his hands up, perhaps singing in a language that nobody had ever heard before, a song that nobody could understand. He sung to the Lord in the Spirit. If that isn't modern holy rollers, I don't know where to look for them. They had signs and wonders with them. Now, if God only respects the fundamental, looky here, Moab, scripturally speaking, was just as fundamental as Israel was. Amen. He had everything that Israel had. He had 7 altars. That's what God required. Israel had 7 altars. He had 7 clean sacrifices. Israel had 7 clean sacrifices. There's Cain and Abel again. Amen. See? All right. He offered 7 bullocks. He offered 7 bullocks. He offered 7 rams, speaking that believed that Christ would come. He offered 7 rams, the same thing. Amen. Just as fundamental could be. Cain built an altar. Abel built an altar. Amen. Cain offered a sacrifice. Abel offered a sacrifice. Abel worshipped. Cain worshipped. But God vindicated, proved that Abel was his choice. Amen. God proved here that Israel was his choice. Amen. For Israel had a supernatural in their camp. Although with all their mistakes, they had a pillar of fire following them. They had an atonement for divine healing and practiced divine healing. Amen. A serpent. They had a smitten rock. They had signs and wonders in the camp. When John came, he was supernatural. When Jesus came, it was supernatural. Amen. And the enemy on the fundamental side always persecuted the supernatural. Amen. Right. You see what he's trying to do today? The same thing. Blot out divine healing. Blot out these people. There's nothing to them. The dignitaries, the great people. Blot it out. Brother, it's nothing but that vine twisting through Genesis coming into Revelation.
Amen.
I take my side with the holy rollers.
Amen.
Let it be whatever. I never seen a holy roller. That's a name that the devil put on the church of God when it don't belong there. They are not holy rollers. They are sons and daughters of God.
Amen.
Misunderstood by the world.